Today's gospel makes mention of when Jesus saw two brothers, Peter and Andrew. They were working on fishing nets for fishing when Jesus hollered over and asked them to follow him. They dropped what they're doing and they followed Jesus. Now, between Peter and Andrew, which one do you think is my favorite? Well, Peter, well, maybe, yes, because I respect him, but Andrew really gets to me more, I think, because he's probably my most favorite apostle out of all the 12. And let me explain why that is. I'm not going to talk about today's gospel, but I'm going to talk about something out of the Gospel of John, which explains how when Andrew met Jesus, he was so taken with him that he ran to his brother Peter and said, "I have found our Savior." And he introduced Jesus to Peter. And then we know the rest of the story. Jesus picked Peter to become the leader for all of the apostles. And he became the Pope, and on and on and on. Everyone looked to Peter, and everyone looks at him and gives him all these accolades. But what about Andrew? Isn't Andrew the one who introduced Peter to Jesus? Shouldn't Jesus have picked Andrew to become the leader and not picked Peter? Why did that happen? Well, I don't know. Of course, Jesus knew what he was doing because he is God. And I've often wondered, how might Andrew have felt since he was the one who actually introduced Peter to Jesus? Did he wonder why Jesus didn't pick him? Was he jealous of his brother Peter, sibling rivalry? Maybe. Maybe he was depressed, didn't feel he was worthwhile. Or no, maybe he was happy that Jesus chose Peter because he didn't want that status, that important job to have to do. I don't know. But however he felt, whether positive or negative, obviously he seemed at peace with it in the end. And he went ahead and served Jesus. And he served the early church. And he did so for quite some time. Andrew's really a wonderful role model for me because whatever Jesus asked, he did. Jesus wanted him to be humble and simple, he did. Jesus wanted him to do more work, he did. Whatever Jesus asked, he did. And that was the key, following God's will. And I think it's the same with us. Andrew sets a great example where often we feel tempted to say, "Oh, why is that person more successful than me?" Or "Why was this person picked for that job and not me?" Or "Why are people, applauding this person?" And none of that does us any good. God doesn't really care about all of those things. He simply wants us to follow his will. Sure, he sees people with different skill sets and has them do important work according to their skill sets, but equally important. Let me give you an example. Some people, yes, they might become leaders or become CEOs of a company or whatever, but there are also people that work cooking and serving in the soup kitchen, feeding 500 homeless people. And yes, that is important. God knows each and every one of us. So we shouldn't be complaining about who he favors, even though we're tempted to do so. And I understand that. I believe that if we're truly humble and do whatever God asks us to do, however important or unimportant we think the job is, if we're humble and we do it, little bit by little bit, even if it's not noticed, that when we meet Jesus, Jesus will thank us for all the wonderful work that we did and how we helped him so much, even if we don't think it was very important. He may give us, a cumulative snapshot of all those little things that we did throughout life that helped lead to God's greater plan. And then we may realize how wise God really is. So it's important for us that every day when we get up in the morning, we ask God, "What is it you want of me today? I am happy to serve you." and the next day we try and do our best. We don't know. We just have to trust God. Thank you, and God bless you.